Hello everyone.
Hi.
You're welcome to Daily Talks Real,
Yeah.
where we keep everything about relationship real. Okay, good. So today we're going to be focusing on our campaign, The Marriage Still Works. Marriage Still Works.
Yeah.
So that's going to be our focus today. We are on a campaign to show that there are still beautiful marriages out there, marriages that are working, marriages that are adding value. I mean, harmonious marriages, and ours is one of them. Yes. So today we're going to be looking at some of the things that we did and still doing, that has helped our marriage till now. Yeah. Okay, so I remember how we started. We met about 24 years ago.
I think 3 years for friendship and now 20 years, going to 21 years of marriage.
Yes.
So I think it's a good place to start.
Yes, it's a good. Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
A very good place to start. Okay, so that means that we've been together now for almost 24 years.
We've known now for
we've known
years.
That's the word. We've known that for almost 24 years. And out of those 24 years, we've been married for almost 21.
Yeah.
Okay. So we said we're going to start at the beginning. So I was a student. He just finished youth service and came down to Lagos, Nigeria, in search of greener pastures. And then he got a job. He got a job, and we met in a former place of worship in Lagos, Nigeria. And then, so let's not bore you with all the details in between. So we started our relationship, and it was very it was a beautiful one. He's very gentle, very caring, so I've had a beautiful time with him from the very beginning.
I'm not as gentle as before again. Thanks to her.
He's always saying that I've impacted him because I'm the one that is very expressive. He's the introvert, but now he's not so introverted again. Okay. So before we digress too much, so back to the beginning. And we're still doing that. That is helping our marriage to work, because we're talking about marriage still works. Okay. So we started on the relationship with the intention of getting married from the very beginning. Okay. And as people of faith, one of the things that we did at the very beginning that we're still doing now is the fact that we prayed. And we are still praying. We prayed, we committed our relationship into God's hands, and asked that God should take control. And those prayers that we prayed then, they are still helping, because we prayed about practically everything. We were not married then, but we know that the impact of prayers is far-reaching. So we prayed about practically everything. We prayed about children, prayed about our careers. The list is endless. We prayed about the future, and I would say that God heard our prayers. Let me put it that way. Another thing that we did was we kept the communication lines open. The times we met, it was not just mushy, but I'm going to leave him to talk about what were we talking about those days. They sound like those days now. What were we talking about?
I think the important thing was that we looked at our past, knowing that we came from two different backgrounds. We usually say we came from two different worlds, and knowing that coming from two different worlds, we speak on personalities, we speak on your culture, your belief system, the kind of values you're bringing, and two different people coming like that to form our own unique home will have impact. And therefore, that's why she mentioned the aspect of communication. So we actually open up that communication line consistently, and we discussed in detail about practically everything.
We talked about our past, where we're coming from, and the impact it was going to have on
our own
home that we're trying to build.
Can
you talk about some of the things you talked about that has to do with our past?
In terms of personality, I must say, like she rightly mentioned earlier, I'm more of on the reserve side, and she is more expressive. That alone was an issue, and we had to really discuss it in detail. The kind of cultural background she came from, because we're from two different ethnic groups, and therefore the perspective in certain areas and on certain subjects were totally different. We brought it up then, we had a detailed conversation about it. We also look at our belief system, because culture impacts on beliefs, and therefore if the belief is there, we work towards alignment of the differences that we have, because if we don't allow them to align, there is going to create a kind of impact that over time, if it's not managed properly, has a way of spiral out of control.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the things that we talked about.
Good, yes. And then we also talked about our future.
Yes.
We talked about our aspirations. My aspirations as a person, his aspiration as a person, his dreams, and then collectively.
Yeah,
and we have to find a place of alignment as well.
Because it's not about you, it's not only about you, neither is it only about me.
Yes.
So it's about the two of us.
Both of us.
There has to be.
And both of us matter. We're coming together as two whole individuals.
Yeah.
And we needed to talk about our dreams, because before I met him, I had my dreams. I was already thinking of things I wanted to do with my life. He already had his dreams and aspirations. So we talked about those things. And we talked about number of children.
We talk about our career. We talk about how we're going to impact the world.
Yes.
In terms of, we have love for people, and therefore we're asking ourselves, we have love for education. So people who are finding it difficult to proceed in their education as a result of finance. So that is an area that we are really passionate about. So all of these things were put into consideration that we discussed.
We talked about everything. It's only like we didn't even talk about the Moshipado, I love you. And we talked about those things, but we took time to talk about, a lot of other things that mattered. And I dare say, I would say I need to say here that we also gave ourselves to counseling. Yeah.
It's very, very foundational, because it's good you have a picture of what you are getting into, what to expect. Then you are better prepared than someone who had not actually gone through that, to have an idea of what the world will look like after you are married. And just imagine now, as you're watching, imagine, and I want to ask you a question. What would have happened to people who never discussed some of these things that we talked about? What would have happened in their marriage? And if you are married now, it's never too late. No. So I think it's about time you also, as you're here listening to us, you sit down, you talk about, you are asking yourself, have you actually taken time to talk about all these things that we talked about earlier? And if you are not yet married, then it's a good template for you to make use of and start discussing the real matter. Yes, I love you, my heart is doing something. Yes, it's part of it, it's good, but it's not limited to that. There is a whole lot more in marriage.
And communication is essential.
Very, very essential.
It's essential. And so we're talking about marriage still works, and ours is an example of marriage that is working. So we said at the beginning that some of the things that we did when we were starting out and what we are still doing. So till now we are still praying. Till now we are still talking. Our communication lines are always very open.
Permanently.
We don't even when one person is upset, we've trained ourselves not to allow that upset close the communication line. We will always talk about it. And those are some of the things that we did at the beginning and still doing that is helping our marriage to work. And see, I can tell you that I'm enjoying this man, and I know you.
I'm enjoying.
Are you enjoying me?
I'm a better person today because of her.
I am a better person. He has taught me so much.
But we have to open up to each other. We always say it's about give and take.
Yes.
In doing this also, I have to take on new things or new ways of doing things. And I have to let go of some. The same thing that she also did and still doing as we speak now, that brought us this far. All right.
So our closing and encouragement is that, see, there's no relationship that can work without putting some of these things into practice. You have to learn to talk to each other. Talk about your aspirations, talk about whether challenges, problems, pray about whatever it is that you're going through. Pray for each other. We always pray for each other. I mean, when he's doing well, I'm doing well. So I pray for him. I desire he's good. I desire for him to do well. So I'm always praying for him, and he's always praying for me. And we talk about things in the past, things in the future. And these things have really helped our relationship. See, this is not all there is to what has made our marriage work, and it's still working. There's still many more. That's why you cannot afford, not to follow or subscribe to this channel. You just have to, okay?
I think you have to like, you subscribe, and post comments.
Yes.
Post comments.
So now you've heard these things, and some of you might be wondering, oh, my spouse is not the talking type. How do I make him talk? Or I've suffered trauma in the past. I'm ashamed to talk about some of the things I've suffered. If you need us to guide you through some of these things, we'll be happy to, okay? Because we are trained and certified counselors. Send us an email, send us a chat, put your comments, and we'll take it up. We'll get across to you, and we'll be happy to help you navigate into doing some of these things that will take your relationship and your marriage to a blissful phase. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for listening. Until we come your way next time.
Remember, marriage still works.
And I think I need to add this: like, subscribe, and
comment.
drop your comments or questions.
Thank you.